Hey, and welcome to this week's video. Today is going to be another energy technique. So definitely give yourself a little bit of time and space to be able to drop into this. As always, the more fully present and intentional you are with energy work, the more effective it is with you. Today, we are going to do something called cord cutting. You may have heard of this before. I'm going to walk you through this guided process. I'll give you just a little quick overview before we dive in. But this is a really highly effective tool. It's a client favorite. It's something you can do every day if you want to, or occasionally when it feels like you really want to do this. So get ready, get set, allow yourself some space to be present for this, and we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, so just before we dive in, I want to clarify a couple of things. First of all, if you can use your physical hands in this cord cutting process, it's going to be really effective. And I'm just saying this now because I know you will have your eyes closed likely as we go through the energy technique. It's just really helpful for us to get our physical bodies involved when we're moving energy, because that's part of what the energy is. Secondly, I just want to confirm that when we are doing cord cutting, this is a highly effective tool when it feels like your energy is being drained by other people and so or connected to other people in a way that feels maybe enmeshed or like it's not the right thing, it doesn't feel right for you, and so just it's not, you're never cutting cords of love, right? That those are not things that can be cut. We're talking about energy that is sort of, you're connected to someone and it's almost like you're draining energy from each other. And so often I use the example of, it's almost like someone standing like in your space or like right over your shoulder. You would kind of be like, give me some space, get away. And that's what happens with energetic cords. We are connected to people in a way that feels like, ugh, right? It actually is kind of a repulse. It's like you're so connected in a way, but you're both in each other's space. So it actually is kind of repulsive or off-putting around the other person. And you will find, we'll talk about this at the end, but you'll find when you do this technique, as simple as it seems, you will be creating space and yeah, I'm going to say space for both of you. So it's actually going to feel really, really good. Okay, so just to clarify those two things. So now that we've done that, let's just drop in, close your eyes. It's going to be more effective if you're able to really tune into yourself. Just take a couple of breaths to bring yourself fully present here in this moment. This technique will be about 10 minutes or so. So just so that you know that I'm holding that container for you, that time container, so that you can really be present to this. So just want you to notice, maybe as I was talking, there were someone or some ones who came to mind around. You can feel that there's this sort of connection that you know isn't quite right or isn't quite serving. It's not about being bad or wrong. We have cords with many people. I have cords with clients. I have to do cord cutting, cords with family members. Absolutely. Definitely siblings, definitely parents, definitely children, right? We are going to have these cords with lots of people, maybe colleagues you're going to have, maybe someone you've had a conflict with, hard to say. So just as I've been saying this, maybe there is someone or a few people that have come to mind. And I'm going to just recommend, you can certainly do multiple, but I'm going to sort of guide this as though you're doing it with one person. And I would probably recommend that. But if you're like a multitasker and you want to bang off everybody at once, go ahead. So I just want you to call that person in or those people in to your experience. And again, if um, yeah, as I share this, if there's no kind of like pull or connection here, you probably need to pull someone else in, right? So as you're pulling this or calling these people in or this person in, I just want you to notice where you might feel some tension in your body around that person. And again, it's not necessarily around them, but it's like they're connected to you in some way. So often these cords are around the neck and the shoulders and the head. They can be somewhere else. They could be in the heart or solar plexus, even the low back. So I just want you to tune in to where you feel the sort of tension, maybe, or maybe even a pull, or you may even probably, if you're interested in a bit of energy work, you will be aware, maybe have a sense of where this sort of energy feels like it's draining you. So just tune into that for yourself. Obviously, when I'm doing this with clients, I can help them and sort of feel into their energy. But as I'm doing this in a global way, obviously, I can't feel into each of your energies. And I'm doing this before you see it. So, but I will say that often it is around the neck, around the ears, head. And yeah, sometimes it is hard, right? So just sort of tune into where you might feel that. So just breathing in. So again, these are not wrong. This isn't bad. You're not bad. The person's not bad, right? This isn't a bad thing. This is just human, right? We are all energy beings and we are all connected energetically. And sometimes those connections can get a bit draining and wonky and enmeshed, right? And we just actually want to clean that up because it will feel a lot lighter and a lot better for you. So, wherever you are noticing this energy or this tightness, just I want you to imagine now that there are cords coming out from these areas to the person or the people that you're thinking of. You might actually be able to visualize this, but maybe not. Maybe you can just sense it. And these cords could be tiny, tiny, like a thread, or they could be really, really thick, like a really big. I've had the experience of almost feeling like an umbilical cord, right? That kind of really thick energy. And so, just our cord, I just want you to notice that for yourself. And I'm going to give you a couple of options to do this technique. So, one is to use a cutting motion. So, you can use your hands like scissors as though you're cutting or even chopping with your hand. So, that is going to be one way that you can do this. And for those of you who don't like that idea, you can almost imagine like you're pulling those cords, like you're pulling a Kleenex out of a Kleenex box. And so those are the two ways that you can think of doing this. So, what I'd love for you to do right now, for the places, of course, that you can reach, maybe there's some places that are hard to reach on you, but I'd like you to start by cutting or pulling those cords out. And so, again, you may have more than one. So just work your way. So use your physical hands to either cut with your fingers or chop with like a karate chop or that pulling Kleenex technique. And so just work with either the one that you're noticing or the multiple that you're noticing. And it may be really easy, maybe easy to cut, maybe easy to pull. It may require a little bit of effort, right? It may require you to really kind of almost saw through these cords. So I'm just going to give you just a few moments to do that for yourself. Just tune into it. We are all intuitive beings. We are all energetic beings. And so for some of you, this might be new and you're not quite sure, but just trust, right? Yeah, we all have this energetic capacity. I love helping people see that within themselves. So just trust that you have this capacity to sense or feel or know where these cords are, and you are now in the place of cutting them. And that's all you need to do, right? We don't actually have to think about the person, or there's no mental things. This is why I love there's no analyzing, right? I love that about energy work. You're just literally cutting this cord and remembering that this is not a cord of love. This is a good cord to cut. It's a cord that is draining both you and the other person. So let's just spend another maybe 90 seconds doing this. And of course, you could stay longer, but I will keep it in this time frame for now. Just breathe as you do it. And you may sense this cutting or that lightness when you have cut. I just will invite you to sort of fill that spot up with a light energy. It's almost like a balm to sort of close it and seal it. So just take when you've cut something, right? You may again be cutting multiple. So if you are doing that, just sort of fill those spots up with like a white light energy or a gold energy, something that feels like it's, yeah, like a balm or like a soothing to sort of close that up. You can send it to the other person. You actually don't need to, but you could as well on that end. Okay, so just taking these last 30 seconds or so to continue to do this. Just keep breathing. And you may be doing multiple people. And so, as I'm giving you space, you may just do a few chords for someone else. But you can certainly come back and do this again. Okay, and just making sure now that you have filled these places up with some light energy to sort of close them. If you do want to stay longer, pause the video and stay longer. Maybe it's taking you a little bit of time, right? These cords can be long standing, right? And depending on the relation you have with someone, right, they can be quite thick and quite dense because it's been like a long time of building this up or a long time of this energetic pattern. So just to be easy with yourself and just take the time that you need to do this, but I am going to continue. So, for those of you who feel complete in this moment in terms of cutting, I just want you to tune into yourself and just notice if you feel a bit more space around you, right? A little less tension, a little less tightness. Maybe it feels lighter in your body and in your energy. And just take a couple of breaths to integrate this now. Breathing in through the nose. Hold it for a moment, breathing out through the mouth. And again, twice more. One more time. And just to finish, I'm going to invite you to imagine a big ball of light over the crown of your head and just allow that energy to come through the crown and work its way throughout your body. Again, sort of filling up those places where the cords were cut or pulled out. We do want to sort of, when we shift energy or move energy, we want to replace, right? We want, sometimes it will feel like a loss or it will feel uncomfortable that we're cutting. It's ultimately a really good thing, but we just want to make sure that we're sort of filling ourselves up with this light energy, source energy, higher self energy, to sort of completing us in our 3D body. And you are, of course, welcome to send that light energy to the people with whom you just cut the cords. And so when you feel complete with this light filling, just check in with yourself. Make sure you feel grounded in the chair that you're sitting in, coming back into your present body. Maybe you received a message, maybe you received an insight, maybe not. Just notice if there's anything that's coming to you. When you feel ready to come back into the room that you're in, you can do that and slowly open your eyes. It is always really good to notice how you feel with the eyes open. Can you sense that there's some space? And again, I'm kind of highlighting this area around the neck and the head because and shoulder. It's a very common area to have these cords, but you may have had them elsewhere. Just notice how that feels. And just want to highlight a couple things again, just to sort of wrap this up and let your conscious mind understand what we just did. So, you have now released this, and you may need to go back and do it again, and you may need to do it with other people, but you've released this energy drain between you and someone else. And again, it's not. It's a drain. It's not good for either of you. May not. It's not dramatic necessarily, but it's just an energy. It's like someone else being in your space, someone else being in your field, right? It's like if you are always thinking about someone or it feels like they're in your head, then you probably have a cord with them, right? And so you actually want to cut those cords. And as you do that, you are doing a service not only for yourself, but for the other person. And what I will invite you to do is just notice what happens without expectation, but just noticing what happens for you in the coming days, maybe week, and just notice if those interactions shift or change, or if there's a bit of a different dynamic, right? So, yeah, because what happens is when we're in someone's field and they're in our field, we're kind of sick of them basically. And it feels, yeah, like that people are encroaching on you in some way. And so when that cord is cut, all of a sudden it's actually, you can kind of get back to that place of love almost, or even if it's not love with a colleague or something, but it'll be like, oh, I actually want to connect with this person now because I'm not already connected with them. So just notice what happens. I've seen some miraculous things with myself as well as my clients. And again, this I took you through a process, but you could do this really quickly. Sometimes in the morning, I will just do like a really quick kind of almost sweep, You may have seen me do this in other videos. I'm very with my hands, but it's just a quick way to sort of release anything that feels like it is hoarded to you. So there's lots of ways that we can do this, and I'm sure I'll be sharing other energy practices with you. But do just notice how you feel. Notice how you feel within your body. Notice the tension. Notice maybe that your thoughts about the other person will either vanish, like you won't be constantly thinking about them, or they will shift into something else more expansive. And then also notice that external, I'm going to say, validation of how things shift within the person that have been working with, or the people that you've been working with. You can certainly do this with things or like businesses and things like that, but I really focus today on people, and that can be people. We all are dealing with people, right? Whether that's in your personal life or in your business life. So it's like an energetic hygiene practice, and so it's just I would really recommend that you sort of weave this into your week at least, right? You don't have to do it every day, but you could. I don't. I forget about it all the time. And I often do it when I can really feel that there's someone in my field, but it is a really good practice to do regularly. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I'm really enjoying doing lots of energy tools and techniques. So I think the next one you see from me in a couple of weeks will also be another cool energy tool that you can apply, because I truly believe we are, well, I know we're energetic beings. I know that we can shift things really quickly. Not only can we heal and release, but we can also expand ourselves by really connecting within ourselves and to our energy and being able to shift this all quite quickly. So that is my passion. That's my mission. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. And I will, as always, if you haven't subscribed, do that. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Take care.